Hello there broskis, Erkin back here with another episode of Buy or Buy. And if you're new here, this is the life of a broski where I do sneaker unboxings and reviews. So if that's your kind of thing, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And on today's episode broskis, I am reviewing the Nike Air Max Up. Now, I know what you're thinking. Is it the Air Max 2090? No, it is its own sneaker. And yes, these are actually a women's shoe, but some of these colorways just look a little too clean for me to not have a look at. This wasn't the best colorway that I wanted to get my hands on, but beggars can't be choosers, so I got these in anyway. Now in terms of the box, we've got the red normal Nike box, so nothing new there. On the product information, it is women's Nike Air Max Up, and the colorway is black, white with metallic silver. So that's it, nothing spectacular with the box, but let's see if there's anything spectacular with these sneakers. I managed to pick these up on ASOS for £115. So if you are thinking of getting a pair, I will leave some links down below. Now looking at this sneaker straight away, you can see the inspiration behind this silhouette. It does come from what Nike claim the Air Max Dia, and in my eyes the Air Max 2090. But for me, it's definitely got its own stamp because of that massive air unit at the back. But going around this sneaker, on the upper it's made of this nylon woven material which has this slight textured feel, and on the lateral side we have those double Nike swooshes, and on the medial side it is that smaller Nike swoosh in that subtle black, and we've got those white circular holes which aren't actually holes, there are underlays underneath, so that sort of cancels out the purpose, but I guess they're just there for aesthetic reasons, but it doesn't really do much for me. And we've got this lacing system where the eyelets are actually hidden by the upper, but what holds the laces in place is this tag that reads Air Max Up Nike Air Technology, Beaverton, Oregon 2020. And on top is the Nike swoosh with the Air branding, which has also been seen on the 2090. Now this tongue is a very mixed bag in my opinion. It's very flimsy and it's sort of hard to keep it in place when you're wearing these, but it's also got a nice feel because of that foam cushioning. Going to the back at the heel counter, there is that nice pulley which adds to the sporty look, but where things are really dominant is that massive midsole and of course that air unit. Now I thought the Air Max 720s were a monster of an air unit, but Nike have actually outdone themselves in terms of how big and bulky this looks. Now what fuses together that air unit and the upper is that TPU cage, and just underneath that is that monstrous air unit. And by squishing this, there isn't really much air in there. And as you can see inside, there is that supportive foam just like we have at the forefront. Now I've got to say straight away, the foam on this sneaker is one of the softest I have ever felt on a Nike sneaker. But finishing off on the outsole, it's got a very unique look and design with that large Nike swoosh more so towards the forefront, and that sort of vented design to the traction panels with the Nike Air Max writing in what looks like that circular badge at the back. Now I know exactly what you're thinking. You don't know what to think, because I am the same. I'm torn because I just don't know what to make of it. That large monstrous air unit at the back, and the way this is very lifted on foot. I think I've got to compare it to the 720 a little bit more in terms of how much height it gives you, but I've got to say it's gonna give the 720 a run for its money. Now in terms of the sizing of this sneaker, this did run very much true to size. I got my normal size 9 UK and they were fine. Now when it comes to the comfort and the feel on foot, these are very lifted like I've mentioned, and they are more on the bulky side, in particular at the back with that massive air unit and that TPU panel, but on the other hand it is a very comfortable sneaker. The foam on this midsole is actually very pleasant and it's one of the most comfortable foams I've ever felt. So this sneaker, it does take some getting used to. That lifted feeling, even coming from the 720, it's a very new feel, and also the bulky at the back. But overall, not much to complain about. Out of 10 for comfort, I am going to give an 8. So, breathability. How well does this sneaker hold up when it comes to the ventilation. Now I know this sneaker does have those aesthetic holes, but like I mentioned, it doesn't really do much. They're still covered with an underlay, so they're more for the looks rather than practicality. But honestly, because of the use of these thin materials for the upper, it's a very similar feel to the 2090s in terms of its breathability and the structure of the sneaker. So when it comes to the breathability, there isn't really much to complain about. Overall, for breathability, I'm gonna give an 8. So broskies, of all the inspiration this sneaker draws itself from and all of the comparisons, does this sneaker do enough to stand on its own? And is this sneaker a buy or a buy? Now because there are tons and tons of sales out there, if you're gonna get a sneaker that is heavily inspired by a more expensive sneaker, but when that sneaker is actually on sale near enough all year round, which one would you go for? And that's always gonna come down to how you feel about the sneaker when you have these on foot. Now yes, these are a women's sneaker, and yes, I am a man, well the last time I checked, but there are tons and tons of sneakers that do a lot more for me, which are actually cheaper, and for me, in my opinion, they're built a lot better. If I had to choose these or the 2090s, I would go for the 2090s. Just because it just looks like its own sneaker. And this one, in my humble opinion, it just draws too much inspiration from other sneakers. And I know the 2090s, it pays homage to the classic 90, but it does so well to stand on its own. So overall broskies, there's plenty more fishinessy that do a lot more for me. And I have to give these a buy. But broskies or broskets, let me know what you think. Would you go for these? Is this your cup of tea? Have you already copped a pair? Or is this a total miss? Leave all your comments down below, and of course I will be pinning the best one. Anyways broskies, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, and of course until the next episode, take care.